It may seem weird to consider, but the next year of content is already being planned out and set in motion for Warzone, and with new titans of Halo and Battlefield entering the ring here later this year, the question has to be asked, what does Call of Duty and Warzone do to keep the game fresh among all these other options that are going to be coming out, and also so it doesn't get stale on what we've already experienced in the past within Warzone? Well, we may actually have some information relating to that, including a brand new map and even some more information on the details of that. So today we're going to break down what we know of so far and what that could mean here for the future. So as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. What are you guys looking forward to? Are you hoping to see a World War II themed Warzone map? Are you hoping to see something else, a different version of Verdansk perhaps? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts. But as well, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone and anything COD related. And finally, check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage, the best blue light glasses on the market. So if you guys want to check those out, learn more, or perhaps pick up a pair for yourself, links in the description below. That said, let's jump into the discussion at hand. So this thing has a lot of layers to it. Of course, you have to know a couple of things. Firstly, that World War II Vanguard, developed by Sledgehammer Games, is rumored to be the next Call of Duty title entering into the franchise. A World War II game that maybe takes a look at different areas of World War II. We only focused on the European theater within Call of Duty World War II a few years ago. Maybe that shifts over to the Pacific theater. There was a rumor a little while ago that I think has since been shut down that it was an alternate history version of World War II. We just don't have those kind of details, but it seems like by all accounts, those who have sources or inside information of some kind seem to point towards World War II being the overall setting for Call of Duty in 2021. But outside of that though, as of recently, there was a recent report from VGC that claimed that Activision was going to be releasing a brand new World War II themed Warzone map along with Vanguard's release. Two key parts here, stating that the plans are to include an entirely new Warzone map, the series' largest and most ambitious to date, this time planned to coincide with the release of the game rather than arriving months later. The Vanguard map is said to be set in the Pacific theater of World War II and is significantly larger than Warzone's current Verdansk environment. Now, that's pretty loaded. Again, those two big key pieces are that it is finally going to be a brand new map, not Verdansk 2.0 or the original Verdansk returning, or even a World War II version of Verdansk, but instead something entirely different, something set in the Pacific theater of World War II, maybe hinting at what we end up seeing within the campaign and multiplayer for this year's upcoming title, assuming all things pan out. But the other big thing is that this is set apparently to coincide with the release of the game's launch, sometime in either October or November, not something like that staggered 5 to 6 month release after the launch of the new title, which is interesting because it seems like by all accounts, Call of Duty kind of had a little bit more of a hold on the calendar year and when releases were being made, so that players had interest more so year round as opposed to just a lot given up front and then losing interest around January, February, and March, and then nothing really to follow for the next 6 months until the next Call of Duty game. But it's possible that could be changing. Now, with a brand new map though would include, according to this report, brand new Pacific themed vehicles as a part of the experience. What exactly comes with that? That is of course still yet to be fully understood, but with the game reportedly running on Modern Warfare's engine, that may require some alteration or maybe just completely blocking off some possibilities for things like maybe say water vehicles. And interestingly, following that sentiment, it's possible alterations are being made for the future of the Modern Warfare 2019 engine, because leaker Tom Henderson ended up saying, the more I hear about the Pacific themed Warzone map, the more I like it. It sounds like there's going to be a lot like Firestorm with limited destruction, more vehicle play, and more players. They're definitely changing the formula to keep people playing. Hashtag COD Vanguard. Now, limited destruction is where I think of when it comes to that alteration for the game engine. Right now, there's nothing within Modern Warfare 2019's engine that even has the remote hint of Battlefield-esque gameplay with destructibility in that regard. But if there is going to be those alterations made, maybe swimming is one of those things that is added here that is available to use, especially with so much of the Pacific theater focusing around water. Might be a missed opportunity not to include that. But the most recent information to come out of all of this in relation to the discussion of a World War II themed Warzone map is that data miner Nanikos, via the way of one of his colleagues, Glitchy, ended up putting out some information in regards to the Season 4 update and some leaks to follow with that. What they put out was what they claimed are the World War II Warzone map locations, which is crazy to think about because we still don't really know much of anything about this next project. But if this is true, we have some points of interest already confirmed for the next iteration of Warzone. According to them, the points of interest we can end up seeing are resort, capital, radio station, subpen, farms, airfield, lagoon, beachhead, caldera, mines, village, airstrip, docks, and arsenal. Now, firstly, how plausible of a leak is this? How plausible is it that we see these items in these locations already leaked 4 to 5 months before the launch of the game, and well before we even know anything confirmed about what we'll be seeing for just even the mainline title? Well, it's actually quite possible. We ended up seeing a lot of Warzone stuff data mined from Modern Warfare's base game all the way back with its launch in October of 2019. There were assets, strings of code, even the locations hidden in there in the game files that ended up being our points of interest for the original Verdansk. These being apparently pulled from the Warzone application could end up being another case of that. But as always, take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to leaks, data mines, and things like that. A lot of stuff does happen in development that changes last second, which we'll talk about a little bit further in just a second even, because we already saw that happen quite a bit when we were considering year 2 of Warzone. But if these locations hold up, that is something that is definitely interesting. Some of these may seem familiar, some of them may actually be nods to classic maps within the franchise and the World War II era. Airfield may be reminiscent of the map within World at War, but it's interesting because subpen may be something that again confirms a little bit further that World War II setting. These were protective bunkers to protect submarines in World War II from air attacks, so that could be further confirmation of a World War II setting for this year's upcoming content. But naturally, when we talk about the idea and prospect of a brand new map, many may be skeptical, and that's rightfully so, because why is this going to be any different from the Ural Mountains map? Why should we believe anything that comes out of this when it comes to a brand new map? When already we saw, just instead of a new map, a transition to Verdansk 1984, with sure, a bunch of new points of interest, adjusted environment, and things like that, but not something that is brand new. Well, one thing, and probably the biggest thing to consider, is that this isn't going to be pulled at the last second of development. Blackout 2.0 was well underway when Warzone was launched and was probably only shut down right around that March timeframe of when Warzone actually launched. Up until that point, Blackout 2.0 was a go. A lot of what we saw with development and launch details from Modern Warfare and Warzone were last-minute finalizations, and from whispers around those that are familiar with projects, Treyarch was absolutely keen on a Blackout 2.0, and it was something they had the green light for, up until again that last second when it was all in on Warzone. So that's something that was being developed and then probably came as a huge shock to a lot of people at Treyarch. And with only 6 months until their game launched, well, that wasn't going to be scrapped, hence why we see multi-team modes and Outbreak utilizing this sort of world that was developed but just not connected now at this point. But we also didn't see anything that was actually in the game files. These weren't actually a part of the application for Warzone, and thus was just items discussed and leaked on the Treyarch side of things. But that was the key distinguishing factor. It was more so on the Treyarch side of things. Sledgehammer, on the other hand, they've never had a BR publicized. They've never had something that they're working on this already, where that could then get scrapped and instead be replaced with Warzone 3.0. Fun fact, actually, a little while back in World War II, there was a mode that was data mined that was their test version of a BR, but there was no map outside of just the main MP maps. So it really wasn't anything on the grand scale that you'd expect for Battle Royale, but they were kind of testing the waters here to see if they had the capabilities to do it. But that said, getting back to it, they wouldn't have anything else that this would then be for, but with the tie-ins to Warzone already, that's a solid start here in considering that this could actually be what happens. So right now, that's where we're at here at this. That is everything that we know about within World War II and, of course, Warzone in the next upcoming, maybe even 5 months or so we see this happen. So a lot to consider, a lot to ponder, and a lot to look forward to. So that's where we're going to wrap it up. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this? Are you hoping to see a World War II Pacific-themed map coming into play? Do you want to see something that keeps it more so focused around Verdansk? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so I'm a single thing running all things Warzone and anything COD related. We'll keep you up to date with absolutely all of it. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected on YouTube. Practice on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.